Hello everybody and welcome back to the British Pokemon League show. I am your host Matt Starr. I hope you're all having a wonderful Monday and I hope you all had an even better weekend. It's the start of a brand new week and of course now that means it's a British Pokemon League show episode. It's week 7. 3 weeks to go. 3 weeks to go boys after this week until we hit week 10 and playoffs. We're moving ever closer to having less and less Pokemon left to play. I can't begin to sort of emphasize that we're at this point. And it feels really weird to talk about that way because I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, at this point last season, we'd only just hit the halfway point and there was still so much Pokemon left to play. And now there's only not very much Pokemon left to play. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know what's happening. But we're here. Playoffs is soon. And yeah, there's still so much left to be decided if you're in the West Division. I'm joking. Anyway, I'm going to stop yammering on because I could do that all day long. Let's take a quick look at the league tables before we start having a look at the fixtures going into this week. In the East Division, as you can see at the top there, Aaron's Inglorious Surfers finally taken a top from their perch. Finally with a loss, losing out in 2-0 fashion to the South Croydon Saws, who now stay second but with a 4-2 record. Aaron now with a 5-1 record. Closely followed by the Celtic Celebes, still on a 4-game winning streak. Draco just absolutely just going at it. So, you know, after that first 2 weeks, you know, I think he was a bit down and out, but has just been on an absolute just. I have no words, I have no adjectives to describe. It's looking crazy. 4-2, unstoppable. Torstar Belgrade, we are with a 3-3 record now. Was 2-3, getting the win over Newcastle Thundurus in that derby game last week. And they're down at the bottom, both Thundurus and ShadowKings on a 1-5 record. It is do or die for both of these teams this week. If ShadowKings loses out, they are out. Newcastle Thundurus lose, they are out. There's a lot to go. There's a lot to get through today in the East Division. There's a lot to unpack. We could have our top 4 for playoffs by the end of the day. Who knows? But before we do that, let's take a look at the West Division, where it is a completely different story. Unless you're at the top, Miami Heat still sit there atop of the West Division, 6-0, 100% record. Not even one game dropped for Latvians Miami Heat just yet. 6-0, looking absolutely just insane. Bulu Boys, they're on the 4-2 record. And then 200 Candies, California Bastiodons, Sliver Reptiles, and Long Island Goomys all on 2-4. Candies getting the win over Orma's Bastiodons last week, meaning that we've got 4 teams all on the 2-4 record. Any 2 of that 4 could finish in those final 2 playoff spots. Any 2. That's just how close it is there. These final few weeks are going to be insane. We will take a look at the schedule a little bit later and I'll show you why that's just so crazy. But without further ado, let's take a look at the schedule for week 7. So to kick things off, ShadowKings with a do or die game taking on Torstar Belgrade. If Dogsy ShadowKings get the win here, not only does that mean that Dogsy is still well within a shout of playoffs and does end that 5-game losing streak, it also means that if Newcastle Thundurus can get a win against the South Croydon Saws, they are both still in with a shout of that final 4th spot in the playoffs. However, if Torstar Belgrade get the win here and the Newcastle Thundurus lose to South Croydon Saws, then that's it. It's done for both ShadowKings and Newcastle. That is just how close it is down there at the bottom. This could be it. This could decide it. And our final game there, it is first versus third. Inglorious Surfers taking on the Celtic Celebes. Last time these two played, it was week 1, and it was the only time before last week that Aaron had a game taken off him. So Draco will be coming at this game full of confidence. Meanwhile, over in the West Division, we have got Miami Heat versus 200 Candies. 200 Candies coming this week, full of confidence after that 2-0 win over Orma's California Bastiodons. Will he be able to topple the absolute titan that is Latvians Miami Heat? Or will it be just business as usual? 2-0, 100% record continued. Latvian, just an unstoppable train. Next up, we've got the Slithering Reptiles versus California Bastiodons. Both of these guys on the 2-4 record, so it is going to be super important. Well, the win is super important for either of those guys at this stage. They need all the wins they can get, and this could be a really huge one. And the final game of the week is the Long Island Goomys taking on the Bulu Boys. Last time these two played, Bulu Boys just about getting the game with a Blacephalon Mind Blown to finish things off. And Goomys will be looking for that revenge for sure. Goomys also on the 2-4, needing that win to ensure that playoffs is still within their grasp. But Anyways, our first game of the day, it is Toast at Belgrade taking on Dogsy ShadowKings. As we already spoke about, ShadowKings and Newcastle's predicament that they're in. Dogsy really needing the victory today, and I'm sure that he's got something up his sleeve to try and get those keys to victory. But on Toast at Belgrade side, we saw the absolute might, the power of Reggie Gigas Weezing last week against Newcastle Thundurus. That thing getting 7 kills in just 2 games. Absolutely unstoppable force, means immovable object potentially in this game though. We also saw a little bit of Lapras and and Drapion as well coming out to play again. Drapion has been such a mainstay in this Total Belgrade team from the beginning. One of the few ones to remain in the team alongside Jellison and Serena and Mr. Mangala, Wobbuffet after the free agency window. So we'll be looking to maybe bring, we'd expect him to bring the Gigas Weezing, but I'm sure he's got a few tricks up his sleeve to try and surprise Dogsy. Over on the ShadowKings side though, last week we saw him employ, a similar tactic we've seen from a different coach in the league. Obviously we saw the Lipard Slowbro Galar strat with Blastoise as a switch in, trying to mimic Latvian's team from Season 1. It didn't quite work out against Draco, and Draco got the 2-0 win with that Titar Dracovic and Reggie Draco lead. Proving too strong, but has got a lot of options here. Can get the the priority terrain, the psychic terrain up with the Indeedee, and the expanding force can do a lot of damage here. Also has the option of bringing Spectre. Spectre can maybe come in with those Snarls and potentially a Will-O-Wisp of some sort or a Bulldoze. Try and slow Toast at Belgrade down, try and drop those stats, and try and get something going for him. And of course we've got the likes of the Salamence, the Comfort, which we've seen that duo a few times from Dogsy. Slowbro Galar as well. I'm sure that will make an appearance. It might be a Prevo, but it is such a strong one. You can never underestimate this thing. It is very good. But without further ado, let's take a look at our first game of Week 7. It is Toast at Belgrade taking on ShadowKings. And leading out the line for ShadowKings, it is Slowbro Galar taking on the Spectria. And it is Gmax Lapras and the Drapion from Hop. So it is changing things up a little bit. Trying something new, not the Gigas Weezing duo that we saw. Gigas Weezing is in the team of 6 there, as you can see. So potentially something he has in the back. Blastoise, Indeedee, Comfort, and Salamence, the other mons for Dogsy. So Spectre, you would expect to maybe try and get a Will-O-Wisp, but potentially a Snarl off here, try and stop that Lapras from coming to play. And Slowbro Galar as well, if it can get Psychic Terrain set up, it's going to boost its own Psychic type moves. And with that stab, that's going to be doing a lot of damage. But Slowbro does have a little bit of wide move pool, maybe has a few surprises on there, could maybe do something against the likes of the Drapion. Drapion super weak to ground, so definitely there's a few ground moves in Slowbro's arsenal could be used to get something going here. But are we going to see that Gmax from the Lapras? Are we going to see a switch in? What is the play here from Mr. Hop? So Mr. Hop going into this one with a little bit of confidence after that win last week. And there is the Lapras going for the Gmax. It's a very familiar sight. We saw that from Gus many times last season. There's the Will-O-Wisp from the Spectre. Slowbro also goes for his Dynamax. There's the Night Slash into Slowbro. Gets the crit, but it's still not doing anything very much through the bed. Gmax Resonance hits into the Spectre. That does about half damage. And the Steel Spike into the Drapion. That's going to get the defenses up for both Spectre and Slowbro. The Resonance does mean that Aurora Veil is up for Lapras as well. So physical attacks are going to be sort of nullified a little bit from Dogsy's side. But on the same side of things, that Drapion's attack is stalled a little bit, and with the defense buffs up, Spectria and Slowbro are going to be able to probably comfortably live the likes of a Night Slash from the Drapion, unless it is able to get a quick draw. Trox and the Slowbro, there's the Max Knuckle, try and buff that attack, so it gets the crit as well. That could be really important. The Ben can maybe take Drapion out here. There's the Snell, does not kill the Drapion, but that's going to drop the special attack of Lapras. Night Slash into the Spectre, doesn't quite take it out. There's the Resonance into Slowbro, takes it down to just below half HP, and the Ben does take the Drapion out. So Lapras with another time of its Gmax, and Slowbro with its Dynamax still up. Spectria still just about hanging on as well. Still a useful asset for Dogsy here, so not down or out just yet. Apologies guys if you hear me taking lots of water breaks, or you can hear my fan in the background. It is absolutely scorchio in my room right now. I'm trying to sort of down as much water as I can to keep my throat from drying the hell out. So in comes the Zapdos for Mr. Hop for Toast at Belgrade. what can this Zapdos do? We know it's going to have access to the likes of a Volt Switch, maybe has Heat Wave in there as well. It could be really useful. Zapdos not with the widest move pool, but you know, there's the Quick Claw, does in the Max Mindset, comes off the Slowbro, gets the Psychic Terrain set up, there's the Snarl, is going to drop the special attack of both the Zapdos and the Lapras a bit more. The Discharge comes out though, does take out the Spectre, and it procs the Policy on the Lapras, but that's just going to get Lapras back to neutral. Special attack Resonance comes out again, that doesn't quite take out the Slowbro, but both Lapras and the Slowbro's Dynamax/G-Max does end. But Zapdos just about hanging on through that Max Mindstorm. That hit real hard. And the special attack drop as well, it's not going to enjoy that, but Slowbro is just about hanging on with the 4% HP. And you'd like to think that potentially, you know, a Volt Switch from the Zapdos here is going to do the job. You know, I would say that's probably Dogsy's last speedy Pokemon gone with the Spectre out in the field, but at least no priority moves are going to be going off. So that would probably rule out the likes of you know, something like a Comfort. In comes Blastoise. Now Blastoise facing Alpha against the Zapdos. He's going to have to hope that Lapras is not Water Absorb if he's going to go for the Water Spout. Blastoise, we know how strong of a Pokemon this is. Didn't quite do the job against Draco last week, but we've seen it, and there's the Fake Out. Just about gets Zapdos not quite going down, but there is the Freeze Dry onto the Blastoise. Brick Break onto the Lapras. That does so much damage and does knock out the Aurora Veil as well. So in one turn, Dogsy has turned this right around. Slowbro still just about hanging on. Fake Out proving really important. Would have been super great if the Fake Out had been able to take out the Zapdos for Dogsy, but not quite. And now he knows that Lapras has access to the Freeze Dry as well, getting the super effectiveness against that Blastoise. So no Room Service Blastoise this time from Dogsy. It would not appear unless he's got that Trick Room available to him. There's the Volt Switch, does take out the Slowbro, and that's going to allow Zapdos to swap out as well and reset its stats. That's super important. So in comes the Mr. Mime Galar. There is the Ice Punch. That's a great switch in. It resists that, and there's the Freeze Dry on the Blastoise, and he gets the Freeze! The Freeze procs on the Blastoise as well. How huge could that be going this final turn? Indeed, he comes back in, but that could be about it, you know, the Blastoise with the Freeze. Oh, that could be super important. What are the I don't know what the chances are of getting the Freeze. I don't know if it's maybe like a 20% or 30% chance, but that's super big to finish out this turn. And it looks very much like Toadstar Belgrade are going to take this first game, so not the best of starts from Dogsy. Got a little bit unlucky there with the Freeze. I think had Fake Out maybe taken out the Zapdos, it could have went a little bit different here, but Rio has played this pretty smart. Gets the Volt Switch off to take out the Slowbro and brings in the Mr. Magalaga. There's the Ice Beam and AG takes down the HP. Expanding Force is going to take out the Lapras, so it is all up to Zapdos and the Mr. Mime Galar. Blastoise stays frozen. Zapdos on 3% HP. This is a super close game. This could go either way still, but another Ice Beam that indeed is going to take it out, and Dogsy's going to have to hope that Blastoise wakes up. Wakes up, does thaw out, but I think the Zapdos is going to be faster either way. There it is, the Volt Switch in the Blastoise, that takes it out, and there is the Ice Beam from the Mr. Mime Galar, takes out the Indeedee with the crit to boot, and Toadstar Belgrade take game number 1. So Dogsy with it all to do to save his playoff chances, as in comes the Lapras and the Drapion again. So both sticking with their same lineups that they started off with in game number 1. So we are not quite ready to pull the punch on the Regigigas just yet. Is Spectre going to do the same again? Is it going to go for the ban on the Drapion? Is it going to maybe try and sort of nullify that Lapras to sort of just doing a little bit less? There's the Lapras does go for its G-Max. Slowbro is also going to go for D-Master, so a repeat of game number 1. Protect comes out from the Drapion. Will-O-Wisp is stopped by that Protect. There's G-Max Resonance into Spectre. That does a big chunk of damage, and there's Steel Spike. Not going to do much through the Protect, but is going to give that defense buff to Slowbro, and Spectre is going to be able to get that Will-O-Wisp off the next time round. So that's still not worked out too badly for Dogsy there. You know, Spectre hanging on. It's always useful. That defense buff as well for the Slowbro could be super important. You know, with that Brick Break is definitely, I was going to say, I think that's a physical Slowbro, something we've never seen here before. You know, Slowbro is such a stout special attacker, so it's Dogsy trying something different here with the Slowbro. Can he get himself back into this match? Can he keep those playoff hopes alive on the back foot? But this is Dogsy. Does like playing from the back foot. We saw this in the losers bracket in season number 1. Both coaches taking their time to sort of decide what they want to do, working each other out. We are wondering if you can maybe... And Spectrius swaps out. In comes the Zapdos. But Dogsy makes the perfect read, gets the Snarl off, and drops the special attack to both Lapras and Zapdos. This Resonance is going to take out the Spectria though. And there's the Steel Spike into the Zapdos. So that is a good switch to sort of resist that attack. But the special attack drop could be super important for Dogsy. And he does get that defense buff as well on the Slowbro. That Slowbro does need to get on the Sunbeds. It is a little bit pale. And in comes Blastoise. So it is 4v3. That Blastoise now on the field. Can maybe start doing some work. Or is it going to eat another Volt Switch? I think a Volt Switch is not going to do all that much. But maybe we elect to go for the Discharge again. You know, we did see that proc the weakness policy on Lapras last time. And, you know, there's no Spectria to sort of drop that special attack, so you can only get up to neutral. So we're in a little bit of a good position here, but both Dynamaxes, so Quick Draw does proc again. Zapdos swaps in, and in comes the Drapion. Fake Out, that's a good switch in. Fake Out gets blocked, and there's the Max Knuckle. That's going to give Slowbro the plus attack as Drapion now just tanks that hit, and there is the Max Lightning into the Blastoise. That's not doing too much, does get the Electric Terrain up. I do think that is Assault Vest Blastoise, the way it is taking those special attacks. I know that the Lapras did have the special attack drop, but that's still pretty impressive. And both the D-Max and G-Max does end Aurora Veil still up. That could be super big in terms of the Slowbro if it is the physical attacking Slowbro. Blastoise swaps in comes the Indeedee with the Psychic Terrain. Is he going to be able to go for the Expanding Force? Night Slash doesn't quite do enough with that defense buff. There's the Freeze Dry. Dogsy perfectly reading that. There's the Brick Break. Gets the crit. Destroys the screens and takes out the Drapion to boot as well. Did think he might go for an Expanding Force or a Psychic move. I think it's Zen Headbutt, the physical version on Slowbro. So I did think that maybe we'd see that, with the Psychic Terrain boost, but not to worry. There in comes the Zapdos now. I keep going to call it Galarian Zapdos. I'm so used to seeing it. Apologies if I do mess up the names. But Lapras still with that special attack drop could go for the Discharge this time. Or is he maybe just going to go for damage on the other two Mons? Now Lapras's G-Max is up. Is it maybe a waste to try and get that policy up? He might risk doing too much damage to it now that Zapdos has had its stats removed. The Quick Draw comes up. There's the Fake Out from Indeedee. Stops that Zapdos. There's his Zen Headbutt into the Lapras. That's big damage. And there's the Freeze Dry. Blizzard, into the Slowbro. It does miss the Slowbro, but does manage to get something off on the Indeedee. So that special attack drop proving really huge in terms of stopping those attacks. And Blizzard as well, the only move available to Mr. Hop, it would seem, on that Lapras. And with that 70% accuracy, it is it's not going to be hitting all that often, You're running a big risk trying to get that off. That Fake Out really huge on the Indeedee there though. Just nullifying that Zapdos from getting the Discharge off or getting any big damage. We're on 10, number 6. It is 3v3. Dogsy still well within a shout to take this game too, as is Mr. Hop. Quick Draw does proc again on the Slowbro. There is the Zen Head, but that's going to take out the Zapdos. But the static does mean that Slowbro gets paralyzed. There's the Expanding Force to take out the Zapdos, and it is all up to Mr. Mangala in 110. Dogsy's managed to get full advantage here, and it is now a 1v3. Mr. Mangala with it all to do. He is going to be faster than both Mons ahead of him though. How important could that be? Psychic Terrain is up if he's running Expanding Force. We know it is Life Orb. That could do some really, really big damage here. And even if Blastoise was to switch in, if one of them went down or was just a swap, and there's the Expanding Force, it does take out the Slowbro. Indeed, just about hangs on. Indeed, he goes for the Expanding Force itself, but does get resisted. The Mr. Mangala goes down below half HP, and it is AV Blastoise. It is this Expanding Force going to be able to do enough? I would think it's going to be able to take out the Indeedee, but is it going to be able to take out the Blastoise? Is Mr. Hop about to come back from the clutches defeat, or is Dogsy going to take this game 2 and get his first game win since week number 1? Here we go then, 10, number 7. There's the Expanding Force Blastoise, manages to land the critical landing on the wrong Pokemon. There is the crunch from the Blastoise as well, and it ties us up. Dogsy ties us up at 1 apiece, getting his first game win since week 1. As we move on to the all-important game 3, and there is the duo of Gigas and Weezing Galar. Spectria and Slowbro launching again for Dogsy, so Dogsy he has a plan in his head, he knows what he wants to do. He's not switching. He's not trying something different. Making a good read that he would swap it in. Is Gigas out to get a few more kills this week after it went on a complete rampage in week number 6? Weezing here, you would expect it to go for the Protect, but we do know that that Galar Weezing does have a few interesting moves in its arsenal. I'm pretty sure it does get Aromatherapy, so if the Will-O-Wisp does come out with the Spectre, does he maybe, elect to just risk the Galar Weezing going down and just go for the Aromatherapy, just so the band doesn't take down the damage output from that Reggie Gigas. Not too sure on the item on Spectre, but I would expect it to be Focus Sash, so even if Gigas was to hit it with a Max Darkness, you would expect the Spectre to just about hang on. There it goes, Gigas does go for its Dynamax, Slowbro goes for the Dynamax as well. There is the Will-O-Wisp into the Gigas as we expected. Darkness is going to hit the Spectre, and 10% HP does manage to hang on. There is the Aromatherapy from the Galar Weezing, stops that burn going off. There's the Steel Spike into the Galar Weezing, it just about tanks that with 23% HP, just about hanging on. So it's important that if Hop wants Gigas to do as much damage here, he needs to get that Galar Weezing around for as long as possible. He is going to risk another burn going off here, but maybe he can take down the Spectria and maybe get an Aromatherapy up in a later time if the Galar Weezing is able to stick around. He knows the Galar Weezing is faster than the Slowbro, so that's interesting to note as well. Claw does activate on the Slowbro, that can be really huge. There's a Steel Spike into the Galar Weezing, it just about hangs on with 3% HP. There is the Will-O-Wisp as expected from the Spectria, and Hop goes for the Slowbro. He hits it the Slowbro, that's with a defensible from those 2 Steel Spikes, and the burn is just not doing anything. And one more turn of Dynamax for both Slowbro and Gigas, so Gigas a little bit walled here in terms of Slowbro. He's going to be able to take out that Spectria, but if that Weezing goes down, he could be in a spot of bother. Those that slow start procs. Here we go then. 10, number 3. Almond still on the field, but Spectria and Galar Weezing just hanging on for dear life. Galar Weezing especially knows he can't, it's no point risking double protect, knows that if Quick Draw goes again, it's going to go down, and he's in a lot of trouble. The Quick Draw and Quick Claw combo on the Slowbro. There is the Snarl that does take out the Galar Weezing. That's procs the slow start as Slowbro is going to... Oh, the Hailstorm into the Spectre. That's going to do some chip damage for a 10. There's the Max Knuckle from the Slowbro. Gets that attack up. Does a little bit of damage there to the Reggie Gigas. Hail is going to be doing that chip damage as well as the burn to Gigas as well. So Gigas in a spot of bother now. Slow start is activated. The burn is out. I'm absolutely sorry, guys. If I sound a bit croaky, my throat is so dry. So in comes the Mr. Mime Galar, and that might be a really good raid from Mr. Hop as Indeedee swaps in, gets in the Psychic Terrain. We saw just how much Expanding Force did to Slowbro last time, and that was without a special defense drop on the Slowbro, so that's going to hit really, really hard, but he does need to be careful that Fake Out is on that Indeedee as well. I would expect that Indeedee might go for the Gigas, just try and do a little bit of damage and stop it from getting any moves off, but he knows that how much damage that Mr. Mime Galar can do, so Quick Draw does activate on the Slowbro. Wide Guard comes out from the Gigas. There is the Brick Break onto the Mr. Mime. Just hangs on, but the Expanding Force does take out the Slowbro, and it's now a 2v3. There is Mystical Fire from the Indeedee, and it is now 2v2. What a turn. Indeedee managing to hang on with that Mystical Fire. A really great moveset on that Indeedee from Dogsy. Really good stuff. And great reads from Mr. Hop as well, but Mr. Miam Galar is going down as now Drapion switches in and is all up to Drapion and Blastoise. Gigas still with that slow start, hasn't wore off yet, and that burn, you know, it's going to be stopping that sort of slaying power so much. Blastoise unable to get a fake out off though, and indeed he, you know, has already used a turn, so no chance of a fake out here. Drapion then, could it be Toadstar's key to victory, or is that Blastoise? We saw the Gigas has Wide Guard, so that's maybe going to put Dogsy off trying the Water Spout. You know, if he does get hit first, you know, the Water Spout is going to do less damage, so does have to watch for that. Follow Me comes out from the Indeedee. There's the Night Slash, and Indeedee gets the crit as well, and the Cross Poison, sorry, that takes it out. There is the Ice Punch, and it does get the freeze! It's another freeze! There's the Thunder Punch in the Blastoise. That's not doing anything, thanks to that burn and the slow start. And it's a match of 2 freezes. We saw a freeze in game number 1, stopping that Blastoise from doing anything, and now a freeze in game number 3 to the Drapion, and oh, how important could that be? And it thaws straight out! There's the Cross Poison to the Blastoise! Ice Punch again in the Drapion. That's going to be it though. Hop gets the win, and that is it. Weo with the 2-1 win, and Dogsy's playoff chances go with it. Oh, what a game. Who would have thought that Drapion was going to thaw straight out? Not me. I thought that was it. I was like, man, this Drapion is in trouble now, but damn. Sensational stuff. Gets the attack off, takes the Blastoise out. Dogsy will be cursing his luck in that match, but it's the way it goes. GG's to both guys. They both played such an amazing game. It was a sensational, 3-game set, and it could have went either way. I mean, look how close the likes of game 1 was. Dogsy's got to take heart in that. He's won a game, at least now. His playoff chances might be over, but you know, he can still take something from that. And there's still a few games left to go to get some wins on the board. So. Can maybe still leave a little bit of dignity. No, I kid. Dogsy's it's just been a bit unfortunate at times this season, and I'm sure we'll have him back next season, and he'll be aiming for that playoff spot once again. So no Dogsy in playoffs, so no losers bracket run, but Weo lives to fight another day, and that does mean that Mr. Big Dog Dave, Newcastle Thundurus, have to get the win in this next game against the South Croydon Saucer. As you can see in the head-to-head record, last time these two played, South Croydon Sauce did get the 2-0 win. Crizzle was with a pretty convincing win. You know, the Porygon Z just absolutely wrecked house in that game. Dave having absolutely no answer for it, and the Intim brocking that Adrenaline Orb did not assist very well. So Dave will be looking for a little bit of revenge, but it is do or die here for Dave. Last week against Mr. Hopper, we've just seen. We did see the Duskmart and Copperajah come out and get that Trick Room play up, so that's maybe an option he goes for here if Chris is maybe to look getting the Tailwind up with the Tornadus or something. Obviously does have that really mean duo of Tornadus, sorry, not Tornadus, Landorus T and Incineroar that he can Intim sort of rotate out. And then, you know, if Chris is to bring the Cabalion or maybe the Dracozolt, you know, any physical attacker on that team. And Regieleki could work really well into a few mons over there. We've also seen the Ninetales and Venusaur, the Sun duo, work really well on the odd occasion for Dave. So maybe that's something he looks to employ here. But Dave has got to get the win here. And over on the side of Chris, he's got a few options here. Obviously, Chris coming off the back of beating the previously unbeaten Aaron's Team Marshals in Glorious Surfers. We saw just how strong the Porygon Z and the Sneasel was once again last week, running alongside that Tornadus and the Rillaboom as well. And Volcarona as well, that Rage Powder is something that Dave is going to have to watch out for. You know, that Rage Powder stops his main one from taking any attacks. You know, it just keeps that Porygon Z alive. And did run Volcarona with the Focus Sash, which you'd expect to see again from Crizzle here. Keeps the Volcarona kicking around. And lets Porygon Z do all the sweeping up work. But, you know, he's not just a one-trick pony. As I said, now has the Dracozolt and Mudsdale available in his arsenal. Obviously, Mudsdale getting access to stamina. Does have the option as well to run Swagger on Prankster Tornadus and proc that own tempo. Sorry, not proc that own tempo. Get the Swagger off. And, own tempo stops that confusion going off and gets the 2x attack on the Mudsdale. And, of course, Rillaboom G-Max as well is never to be understated. But, yes, it all comes down to this. Newcastle Thundurus versus South Croydon Swords. Let's go. And there you see the Regieleki Lantern, the Lando T, Instant, Venusaur, and Ninetales on the side of Dave. And it is Ninetales and Instant that lead for Dave, and it is Sneasel Cobalion for the South Croydon Swords. So Sneasel potentially going for the beat up play. The Instant is going to drop the attack of that Cobalion, so that could be super important. You know, beat up's going to go off, and that's still going to allow that attack to rise really high. But you know, if you can maybe get the in-team rotation going here, you're going to be completely stall out that Cobalion. You know, the longer you can keep things going, keep things alive. So the Cobalion running out, and there is the Dynamax from the Cobalion. No Dynamax from the side. Dave Fake Out comes out into the Ninetales. That stops that from doing anything. There is the Rockfall into the Ninetales. Does change the weather, but Ninetales lives on with that. And there's Parting Shot from the Instant. So gets that attack and special attack drop, and that is going to allow him to potentially bring in Lando T here, which he does not. Sorry, it's Regieleki that swaps in, so no in-team swapping. And Regieleki now pops onto the field. Sandstorm doing a little bit of chip damage to Sneasel, Lecky, and the Ninetales. Ninetales still just about kicking around with the 8% HP. So the drought, the sun is gone. So you know, Chris is taking care of that potential to swap in the Venusaur, and you know, Venusaur go burr. And then Ninetales swaps out, and there's the Lando T swapping. The Inner Focus stops the Sneasel from taking the Intim, but another Intim hits the Cobalion. It's now 0.4 times attack. There's the Max Lightning. The Cobalion takes him down to 59% HP, and in comes the beat up from the Sneasel now. That's going to maybe take it to like neutral or just +1 attack though. Regieleki does get the Electric Terrain up. The 1.5 does that. There's the Max Knuckle into the Regieleki, takes him down below half HP, and does get Cobalion up to 2 times attack now. So that's always useful. Is Lando T going to be faster than Cobalion? I don't quite remember the speed stats on these guys. But if it is, that potentially gives him the option to maybe go for a U-turn or something. Or does he opt for damage? Does he go for... Well, probably not an Earthquake. You know, you're going to absolutely slap your light bulb into next century. You know, for some reason, I know it doesn't, but I always think that Lecky has Levitate, the way it bounces. I'm like, well, it could just bounce away from the Earthquake. But there's the Max Lightning. Does take out the Sneasel, so 1 kill for Regieleki, and there is the U10, as expected. Swaps that Lando T out, and in comes Instant now to drop that attack on the Cobalion. Again, Max Knuckle, though, is going to get that attack back up to 2 times, and does take out the Lecky in the process, so it is 1 apiece on both sides. Cobalion's Dynamax does end, and it is sat there with 2 times attack. And Porygon Z now swaps in, and the Ninetales swaps in now and gets the Drought up, so that could be really important here. And Insane now, Dave has the option for a Fake Out here. If you can Fake Out the right mon, it can maybe stop the likes of it, you know, the Cobalion from doing too much damage here. You know, with that 2 times attack, it is going to be something to watch out for if he lets it run house. But we know Ninetales has access to that Heat Wave, and that's going to do big damage. In comes Dracozolt, Fake Out into the Cobalion. That's a great shout. Heat Wave from the Ninetales. It takes out the Cobalion, so Cobalion goes down, and it is now all up to Porygon Z and Dracozolt. And it is a 3v2. A great start here from Dave, just working those Intim switch-ins really, really well. Keeping that Ninetales kicking around as well. Super important to get that Sun set up again. And that's some good damage to Dracozolt as well, despite the fact it resisted. And you know, no Porygon Z this time. Heat Wave comes out again. That takes Porygon Z below half. There's the Tri-Attack into the Instant. Goes to half HP. The Cirrus Berry procs. There is the Dragon Claw into the Ninetales, and Ninetales finally goes down. It's 2v2, and there's the Parting Shot into the Porygon Z. Is going to drop that special attack. Really important. Gets the Lando T, and that's going to drop the attack of Dracozolt, but it does proc the Adrenaline Orb on the Porygon Z. But that Parting Shot is now going to enable Dave to bring in the Instant again. Gets that attack drop down again from the Dracozolt. The White Herb. The White Herb, you know, being completely undone. And that's a great move, and now it allows him to get a Fake Out again. So really, really smart stuff there from Big Dog Dave. And that's completely nullified. And there's the Fake Out into the Porygon Z. Earthquake comes out from the Lando T. That takes out everything. Just but the Instant. Instant just hangs on. And Dave takes game number 1. 1-0 to Newcastle Thundurus. What a game 1 from Dave. Really, really smart stuff there to beat out Chris. And we move on to game 2, and it is Rillaboom and Sneasel this time on the side of Chris, and it's Instant and the Lantern on the side of Dave. Now we know just how much Lantern loves Dave and how much Dave loves this Lantern. They are like an old married couple. You cannot break them apart. You know, I fully picture Dave sat on his rocking chair at 9 years old with Lantern by his side, also grey and old. You know, these two is just such a stout pairing that, you know, you know you're going to see them regardless. But it does get that attack drop on that Rillaboom, which could be really important. It's going to stop that Grassy Glide from maybe hitting Lantern as hard. Growing old with my Lantern. Exactly. What a time. Should put that on a Tinder profile. No, actually, don't do that. So Annoying Sneasel is faster. Does Dave potentially go for a fake out? The Lantern goes for the Dynamax though, and there's the fake out into the Instant, so stops that Instant from doing the high horsepower. Oh no, it misses again. High horsepower, the 95% accuracy move misses the Instant, and the Max Lightning hits into the Sneasel, gets the Electric Terrain up as well. Sneasel down to 38% HP. That is the second time this season we have seen Rillaboom miss a high horsepower. I think Rillaboom is just cursed, man. It's RNG. The accuracy on it is just cursed. The second time in one season that we see that miss. Unbelievable stuff. So Instant lives to fight another day. I think it probably would have lived regardless thanks to that attack drop on the Rillaboom, but would have done some big damage to the Instant regardless. Does Chris potentially go for the Gabalion? Switching here on Rillaboom. Sneasel swaps out as in comes the Slurpuff now. Instant swaps out, and now the Ninetale swaps in, gets the Drought up, and there's Grassy Glide into Lantern. Lantern just eats that for breakfast. There is the Max Lightning into the Rillaboom, doing a little bit of damage there. And the Sun now up, and that's not a great spot for Rillaboom to be in at all. Not when he knows that Ninetales has Heat Wave, is not going to enjoy facing off against that for sure. And it swaps back out, in comes Sneasel. There is the Heat Wave. Sneasel's going to eat that regardless, and that's some good damage to Slurpuff as well. There's the String Shot from Slurpuff, dropping the speed of both Lantern and the Ninetales. That Lantern's going slow anyway, but now it's even slower. Gets the Lightning off into Slurpuff, and Slurpuff just about hanging on. So it is 4v3. It's still a great start from Dave. No Dynamax used from Chris, but in now comes Porygon Z. Chris with access to that Dynamax now, knowing that both Ninetales and the Lantern have had their speed halved by that String Shot. A great move selection from Chris. There's the Porygon Z Dynamax, so we expect the Max Strike into the Ninetales. Sash keeps it alive, gets the speed drop again. There's the Dazzling Gleam, that's going to take out the Ninetales. Nightmare there, and there is the Eerie Impulse from the Lantern. That's another great move selection. That's going to drop the special attack on the Porygon Z as well, so great stuff there from Dave. Losing out the Ninetales unfortunately, but it is now a 3v3, and it completely negates that Porygon Z special attack. And the Sun remains up as well, as in comes Venusaur now. I was just going to say that's perfectly timed for Venusaur to join the field. Gets that speed boost from Chlorophyll. Expect maybe if Slurpuff can hang on here to maybe go for another String Shot, try and drop the speed of that Venusaur. Now speed completely dropped on Lantern. That Lantern's going to be moving it's going to be moving slower than an episode of Downton Abbey, let's be honest. That thing is going so slow. Electric Terrain remains up though, which is really great if Regieleki is still kicking around. I don't think he's brought it this game though, but Regieleki with Rising Voltage and Electric Terrain. There is the Leaf Storm into PZ. Does a little bit of damage, does drop the special attack on the Venusaur. Max Hailstorm, that's going to reset the weather, and Venusaur manages to tank that, and there is the String Shot. Drops the speed even more on that Lantern, but there's the Rising Voltage from the Lantern. That's some even better damage on the PZ, and that Hails now is going to be doing chip damage to everything on the field. And as I said, the String Shot, we did expect that coming. Drops the speed on that Venusaur, so Venusaur now without the Sun as well going to be moving super slow. Porygon Z with its last turn of Dynamax. Expect maybe to go for another Hailstorm, try and get that Venusaur down. Slurpuff is not going to enjoy taking a Sludge Bomb or any kind of move, to be honest. At 6% HP, it's not going to enjoy it one little bit. And the Porygon Z is going to swap out as well. Stops his Dynamax and drops in the Rillaboom. Gets the Grassy Terrain up. Stop any Rising Voltage coming off. Grassy Seed procs as well. Gets that defense buff on Slurpuff and procs the Unburden. There's the Leaf Storm into the Rillaboom. That's still good damage despite the special attack drop. And the Eerie Impulse into the Rillaboom. So great predict there from Chris. But the Slurpuff goes down to the Hail. So now it is all up to PZ and Rillaboom. PZ at 22% HP, Rillaboom at half HP with that special attack drop, but it's not going to really matter too much to a Rillaboom. But Lantern swaps out, and in comes the Instant, gets that Intim onto the Rillaboom, but it's going to put the Adrenaline on the Porygon Z. Fake out comes out from the Rillaboom on the Venusaur. There's the Tri-Attack on the Instant. Graceful, there's Proxy Citrus Berry on the Instant. Flinch goes off on the Venusaur, and the Hail doing a little bit more chip damage away, but the Grassy Terrain is going to give a little bit of buff back to that HP. what is going to happen here is 2v3. Is Dave going to get the win here? Massive shock victory. This would be, there's the fake out on the PZ. Gets the crit and takes it out. It is 1v3. High horsepower does hit this time. Insane does live it. There's the sludge bomb on the Ribbon. Gets the poison as well. How important could that be? And it's all up to Rillaboom 1v3 and has the poison as well. And the grassy terrain is not going to matter. Rillaboom with 2% HP is going to go down this turn. So Newcastle Thundurus is going to get the win over South Croydon Swords. Instant swaps out. There's the Lantern. Grassy Glide into the Lantern, managed to hang on as well. There's the Lee Storm, and Newcastle Thundurus get the 2-0 win over South Croydon Swords, and they live to fight another day. Dave managed to hang on to those playoff hopes with a sensational win. Can we just give a shout out to how well Dave played that? We know Dave's ability, but damn, that game 1 was just a clinic of how you play in team rotation. Just chef's kiss. GG's to both boys. Played a really, really good game. Chris, I think a little bit unlucky. I want to say he got a little bit unlucky, but he didn't, to be honest. The high horsepower miss didn't end up mattering too much in the end. But, you know, it was a really fun game to watch. And I know Chris will bounce back. You know, Chris still well within a shout. And Dave has said keeping those playoff hopes alive, most importantly. Anyway, our final game in the East Division. It is the Inglorious Surfers taking on the Celtic Celebes. Aaron getting the 2-1 win over Draco last time round. So Draco is going to be out for a little bit of revenge. You know, he's before Chris. He's the last person to take a game off of Aaron's Inglorious Surfers. So, but Draco on a 4-game unbeaten streak right now. Obviously, Aaron's unbeaten streak has been completely wiped out. Got to 5 games unbeaten. So this could be a really huge game. You know, Aaron is going to want to bounce back from that loss to Chris last week. And I think you would expect to see the Kingdra and the Thundurus lead once again. You know, get that rain dance up, proc that swift swim on the Kingdra under the rain. Geysers are going to be hitting really hard. Does have obviously access to the likes of Mienshao as well for that fake out sort of pressure. And we know how good Registeel can be. If it's positioned correctly, it can just start setting up iron defenses and amnesia, and it can just become so difficult to stop. Tapu Bulu as well and Mamoswine also could be good options here. For the likes of the Dracovish, etc. On the side of the Celebes, though, we saw just last week just how strong Titar Vish and the Reggie Draco can be, and with Lele to back it up as well, it is such a sort of strong core of a team. You know, Draco's built a really, really strong team now and could be really, really difficult to stop. We've also got the G-Max Machamp as well. Machamp is nothing to sleep on. You know, we saw just how well it worked in Latvian's Miami Heat team last season, so never count it out. You know, that thing with no guard means the likes of the dynamic punches are going to be hitting, and they're going to be hitting hard. And as well, we know the likes of Driplim, you know, with Unburden, get that weakness policy proc off, get the Unburden proc, that Driplim is going to go brr and really hit hard. And of course, Magneton, Dottler, Metang and Coughing there as well. You know, I would like to make a good bet that none of them 4 will come to this game, but you never know. They might just work here. On the side of Aaron as well, does have access to that Galarian Moltres. You know, we've seen him run it with Policy before. If you're unlucky enough to not just one-shot that thing and you prop the Berserk, then God help you. But anyway, regardless of that, I'm going to stop waffling. Let's get into our final game of the East Division. Inglorious Surfers versus the Celtic Celebes as we move on in. And there is the Thundurus and the Kingdra. And it is Tita and Dracovish leading the line for Draco's Celtic Celebes. Kingdra does go for its Dynamax, and Tita goes for its Dynamax as well. You're going to see the Rain Dancer there is Substat Sandstorm going off, and the Wormwind is going to just absolutely annihilate the Vish. Gets the attack drop on the Tita as well. There's Wormwind into the Kingdra, but that's just not doing it. It drops the attack, but it's a special attacker, and that's just not doing anything. Psychic Surge does go up, and the Psychic Seed as well procs on the Lele, gets that Psychic. Gets the special defense buff, Max Airstream into the Lele slot, and the Thunderbolt in the Lele slot. Lele doesn't care about that. Skill swap does fail, unfortunately. There's the Wormwind in the Kingdra, just slowly chipping away at that health of the Kingdra. And there's the Geyser into the Lele, and Kingdra just wrecking house, as it usually does. Thunderbolt into the Titan now, and it is 2v4. Rockfall into the Thundy, but Charty Berry is going to just completely eat that up. Does manage to reset the weather now. But that is the Dynamax over for Kingdra and Tita, and Tita's in a bit of a spot here. Draco gets hit by that Thunderbolt, and the Draco Meteor from the Kingdra is going to drop a special attack, but takes it out. And now Tita with it all to do the 1v4. There's the Dragon Claw into the Kingdra, so it does manage to at least get a kill this time, but not the greatest start there from Draco. Protect comes out from that Tita, is going to keep it alive for longer. The Rain Dance is going to reset that weather. Breaking Swipe on that. Oh my god, I've forgotten its name. The Pre-Evolution Attractable. And there's the Registeel as well from Aaron. So that thing, if nothing else, is going to be able to just eat any hits that Tita has. There's the ban from the, the baby Dragapult. God, my brain's mashed, man. The breaking swipes coming in from Hammerhead. Just slowly dropping that attack fairer and further. Tita can't do anything. There's the body press. Finally takes it out, and Aaron takes game number 1. And a great start there from Aaron. Just, left Draco in the 1v4. Tita with the ult to do, and Aaron sticks with the same lineup as does Draco. So Kingdra and Thundurus and Dracovish and Tita. But Lele swaps in this time, gets a special defense buff from the Psychic Sedge. There is the Dynamax from Kingdra. There's the Dynamax from the Tita. Rain Dance comes out. Max Geyser into the Tita, and Tita tanks it. Tita tanks the Geyser under the rain. Procs the policy on the Tita as well. There is the policy proc, and Thundurus is not living that even with the Charty Berry. Can someone please give me the name of the of the Dragapult Prevo? And it's doing. There's the Nature's Madness. We saw how strong that was against Registeel last time. Max Geyser hits into the Lele. That's going to reset the weather, and special defense gets buffed by that Amnesia on the Steel. Titan now swaps out, just stops that that final turn. Dynamax Dracloak. Thank you very much, Latvian. Sorry, my brain's just mashed. Airstream into the Machamp, and that's Machamp just tanks the Airstream. There's the Iron Defense from the Registeel, but Nature's Madness doing so much work there on Registeel. Hydro Pump does manage to hit the Lele. There's a skill swap though. Great stuff there from Draco. I think that's what he was trying to do last time. Dynamic Punch into the Kingdra. That is going to get the confusion off. Lele hangs around another 10 and now has access to that Swift Swim. Gets a Moonblast and takes out the Kingdra. So great stuff there from Draco, and Body Press from the Steel does finally take it out. But there is the Dynamic Punch into the Steel, and it's now 1v3. Dracloak with it all to do against Tita and the Machamp. And there's the Breaking Swipe onto the Machamp. That's going to start dropping the attack on Machamp and Tita. There's the Dragon Claw onto the Dracloak though. And Dracloak, I think with too much to do, there's the Dual Chop into the Dracloak. Dracloak just about hanging on. I think it's going to go down to the sand next turn. Regardless, Protect comes out from the Tita. Breaking Swipe is going to take out the Machamp, so he does manage to get a kill. But the sand is going to take it out. And Aaron, it is now a 1-1. Draco getting game number 2, and we move on to the game 3, and it is the same lineup from Aaron's Inglorious Efforts, and this time Draco swaps it up with the Lele and the Draco, Regidraco, and Regidraco goes for a Dynamax. No Dynamax this time from the Kingdom, but there is the Rain Dance from the Thundy, and Draco Meteor not quite taking out the Rigid Moonblast into the Kingdra, and the Wormwitch. Kindra's going to get taken out, so no Dynamax in the Kingdra. How important could that have been? Does that mean, I was going to say, there's the Galarian Moltres. The Galarian Moltres swaps in comes the Tita to get that stand up. Regidraco with its Dynamax. Regidraco goes for the guard. Thunderbolt blocked by that, and then there's a Max Darkness. Hits into the Tita, not doing much, but that is going to drop the special defense, which could be really important for this Moltres to potentially run house like that. Protect comes out from the Tita, and there is the Thunderbolt, gets blocked again. Protect. Max Darkness now into the Regidraco. That's going to take it out. Regidraco's Dynamax ends, and Moltres gets another kill, and it is 1 apiece. And in comes the Lele once again. There's the Thunderbolt into the Tita. Special defense drop really important. There's the Nature's Madness from the Lele. That's such a good move on the Lele. Just slowly dropping that HP. Dragon Claw into the Thundy. That special defense really low on that Tita now. It's not going to enjoy taking a special move from the Moltres. Protect comes out from the Moltres. Protect comes out from the Tita. Thunderbolt blocked again by the Protect, and Moonblast blocked by that Protect as well, so no mons go down, and as of 10, 5 Psychic Terrain does end as Tita swaps out, as in comes the Dracovish. Eerie Impulse into that Lele. That could be super important. Drops the special tap, but Nature's Madness does drop the Moltres to 30% and does drop the Berserk, as the Fiery Wrath does take out the Lele, so it is now Tita, Vish, all to do. There's the Rain Dance. Oh, the Rain Dance. The Vicious Rain comes out, and there is the Rock Slide onto the Thundy. Thundy just about hanging on, but did he just assist the Dracovish there? Could that be a huge move? Breaking Swipe comes out. That's going to be super effective against Vish, and he's going to drop the attack on Tita and Vish. There's the Vicious Rain into Dracloak. That's not doing much, and the Thunderbolt does take out the Vish, so it's Tita with it all to do. Rock Slide is going to take out the Thundy, so it's Dracloak versus Tita 1v1. It comes down to this. Breaking Swipe onto the Tita. That's going to drop the attack a little bit more. Dragon Claw into the Dracloak. That's some big damage, even with the attack drop. Breaking Swipe, it's not going to quite take out the Tita. Is Tita going to get the kill? And it does! And Celebies take game number 2. Aaron falls again. 2-1 to Draco Celebies. What a sensational game. What a game 3. Can we just get some appreciation for both players there? That was amazing stuff. You know, it looked pretty worrying in that game 1. You know, Aaron playing super well in that game 1. You know, just had him at a 1v4 at one point. And you know, Draco just bringing it back, played really great game too, and I really think that rain dance. I mean, I think Fish's Rent probably would have taken out anyway, but setting up that rain for the Fish's Rent to do more damage could have been, I think, quite important there. But we'll never know, I suppose. Moltres was on 31% HP, so I think either way, it's 62 freeze. It does a lot of damage there either way. But Draco playing so well, and Dracloak not quite working out there. But GG's to both players. Aaron played that. Aaron played that really well. Just Draco was just on point. Draco's winning streak continues. He is 5 games unbeaten. 5. He's equaled Aaron's winning streak in the East Division, and is now going to go on an equal record to Aaron, both 5-2, so that could be really big. But anyway, now let's move on to the West Division, and our first game of the West Division, it is Latvian's Miami Heat taking on 200 Candies. Last time, Latvian, obviously, with the 2-0 win. Who hasn't he 2-0'd at this point? It's only the East Division players he hasn't 2-0'd. But yes, as you can see, Latvian at the 6-0 record. It's just absolutely on point this season. You know, there's not much more you can say. Latvian, it's just, he's in the zone and playing super good. It's just playing some amazing Pokemon. And now has some even better Mons addition to his arsenal. We just saw how strong last week Frost Breath, Anger Point, Tauros was with that Frostlass. That Tauros can do some big damage, and you know when Lat's got Cinderace, Blastoise, which is such an amazing duo and something he's used so well and is so used to, it becomes such a scary team. Obviously, it also has access to the Slowking Galar as well as Prankster Riolu. Can you maybe see some copycat Trick Rooms shenanigans there? Fake out Scrappy Kangaskhan as well, so that's going to be any ghost types are, you know, sort of at the beck and call of this Kangaskhan. Whimsicott as well with both sort of sites of speed control, and we've not seen as much of Glacier as I think people expected, but it is always a threat. It's something you've got to watch out for. On the side of Candies, last week we saw just how strong, again, the Jinx and the Butterfree, or Jinx and Torracat, or Torracat and the Butterfree line can be. Getting those Sleep Powders off, getting the Will-O-Wisps off, getting those Fake Outs in, can be super hard to stop if you're not prepped for it. You don't have the likes of a Lumberry or Red Safety Goggles. Can be super difficult to stop, but that's not to say it's a one-trick pony. You know, we've seen just how good Dragapult can be. You know, Dragapult comes in the late game and just sweeps. And Terrakion as well, you know, does have access to that beat up on Terrakion as well, get that going. And, you know, Snorlax is always an option as well. You know, we've seen just how much Gmash Replenish can do after a Belly Drum. So always something you got to keep an eye out, as well as Chansey and Shuckle as well. You know, such a good duo in the likes of Series 7, Series 9, and could be another big duo in Series 10. And of course has that P2 there, as well as Dark Airshifter. So Candice has a very solid team, and could he be the one to take out Latvian's Miami Heat? We're going to take a quick look then. Let's take a look at Miami Heat take on 200 Candies as we lead the line. It is the Frostlass and the Tauros, and it is P2 and Dark Airshifter. So as you can see in the team of 6, Candies without the Butterfree or the Torracat or the Jinx. Sucker Punch into the Frostlass, but he's got Sash that keeps it going. And there is the Frost Breath into the Tauros. Tauros now is going to get max attack through the Anger Point. Hits the Max Knuckle into the P2, but P2 manages to tank it. It tanks it completely. That P2 is so bulky. Max Strike into the Tauros. That does some big damage and does drop the speed, so that could be super. Also, it comes out from the Frostlass. Sucker Punch going to fail this time. And Max Strike is going to take out that Airshifter, but Max Hailstorm is going to take out that Tauros. And the Dynamax Sense and Tauros is taken care of, but thankfully, well, not thankfully, but because of Hail, the Frostlass sticks around as Chansey goes in. But Latvian reads that Ally Switch perfectly there from the Chansey, and Chansey goes down to the high jump kick. Triple Axle into the P2 as well, and what a turn from Latvian. He's going to take down the Dynamax and P2, and it is now all up to the Dragapult Cinderace versus the Dragapult versus Cinderace. And Frostlass, Ironhead does get the flinch on the Dragapult. Triple Axle comes out from the Frostlass. Citrus Berry procs, but it's not going to matter. Dragapult is taken out, and that is game number 1. Latvian just absolutely wrecked house in 110. What a great read there on for the Ally Switch. Amazing stuff, and gets him done. And then we move on to game 2, and there it is. The duo, it is Blastoise and Cinderace, and Dragapult swaps in for that P2 as Dark Airshifter stays on the field. Detect comes out from the Dark Airshifter. Fake Out comes in, so a great read there from Candy, stops that Fake Out from hitting anything. Dragapult just tanks that because it is immune to the normal type move. Super effective. Max Knuckle into the Airshifter, that is going to buff the attack of the Cinderace. Max Airstream into the Dark Airshifter, that is going to take it out. The Dark Airshifter gets nothing done on the field, and that is going to boost the speed on Blastoise and the Cinderace. Ice Beam into the Dragapult, not quite doing enough, but there's the Thunder Wave, so it is support Dragapult. And, you know, he's not going to enjoy taking too many Ice Beams from that Blastoise. P2 comes up, there's the Ally Switch. Water Spout comes out, that's not doing too much, but it's good damage. But it's a good Ally Switch read regardless, because that Max Knuckle is going to get sort of bonked by that Dragon Ball. Great read there from Kanzis as well, just amazing game of reads here. That is the Ice Beam, so not expecting the read, but the switch, but not quite. And there's the Breaking Point. He's going to drop the attack of Cinderace. There's the high jump kick. Oh, the PT just about hangs out, and there's the Max Strike, and Cinderace is taken down for the first time in goodness knows how long. And in comes the Whimsicott. Now Ally Switch comes out, but the Dazzling Gleam. Dragon Balls going to go down to the Ally Switch, knocking it out, and Water Spout takes out the P2, and oh, what a disaster of a turn for Candies. Tailwind comes out, there's the Water Spout into the Terrakion. Pass on Berries does manage to save it, but it's not going to matter. There's the Rock Slide into Whimsicott, and Blastoise. Candies forfeiting, knowing he's lost here, and Latvian takes yet another game 2-0. The 100% record continues on for Latvian. Sensational stuff there. What a game of reads. I mean, let's just talk a minute for game one for that read from Latvian. Unbelievable stuff. That just wow. And you can tell how much that sort of hit Candies in his morale as well. You know, Triple Axel taking out the P2 as well. And you know, he only had Dragon Ball left on the field. And in game two as well, Candies making some really good reads. You know, they didn't quite work out. I think there's just too many spread moves on Latvian's team to be trying that, but they did work out twice. You know, stop the Max Knuckle from going off, stop the Fake Out from going off. So almost working out for Candies there in the end, but Latvian just proving too strong and getting into it. Also, GG's to both players. Latvian now 7-0, 100% record. Is there nothing this man can do? Is there no one this man cannot beat? It's just wow. As I said, great game, guys. And we move on to our next game. It is the California Bastiodons taking on the Slithering Sceptiles. Last time, once again, it was a 2-0 to the California Bastiodons. And that, I think that was the game that started Jabba's losing streak. So Jabba currently, you know, 4 games lost in a row since week 2. So it's Jabba with a lot to turn around at this point. But could this be the game to do it? You know, both on a 2-4 record, both really need this win to keep their playoff hopes alive. You know, it's super close in that West Division, but the more wins you get, the more chance you've got of making playoffs. But I think it very much is going to come down to the week 9 and week 10, the final 2 weeks, for the decisions in the final playoff spots in that league. Because said anyone could take it, but I think it's very much sort of a good call that Oma is going to bring that Metagross. That Metagross is the kill leader in the league right now, and now does have another option to proc that policy as well in Aerodactyl, and Aerodactyl with access to Tailwind as well. Aerodactyl's such a great support man for Metagross then there as well, you know, and he counters to it. I think Aerodactyl works really like super well against, and you know, with Chandelure alongside it as well, Chandelure can do the work. Water Urshifu as well, you know, again, you bring a Firemon up against that Metagross, Water Urshifu's not going to enjoy it. It's going to just punch your face in. And of course Hitmontop as well, you know, has been running that with a Jetpack and get the Fake Out, the Intim going. Any stat drops, you know, you can get a close combat off and get itself out with it and come back in and do the same thing again. So can really work that rotation well. On the side of Jabba, made a few changes during free agency and has got a very, very strong team regardless. You know, that Toxtricity G-Max, you know, gets that G-Max move off and is going to get the Paras. So something to watch out for. Has that Sceptile, which is his mascot Pokemon. You know, has that Unburden ability. You know, if he was able to run it with a Policy or maybe, you know, the likes of an Electric Seed with that Tapu Koko, get that Unburden procced, and that Sceptile is going to be going super fast and can do some big work. We've seen as well, Togekiss, you know, you can run that as a special attacker or as, you know, follow me support, is a super strong Pokemon. And you've also now got access to the likes of Weavile, you know, one of the fastest mons in the game right now, gets access to Fake Out, can beat up as well, you know, Justified is on that Arcanine, so that is an option for Jabba. And After You as well is a possibility on that low punny, so keep an eye out for that. And obviously has Barbrakill, Galar, Rapidash and Wailord as well. I'd just like to hedge a bet that those ones won't come, but you never know. Jabba does have some pretty crazy teams, and you never know what could come. But anyway, without further ado, let's take a look at California Bastiodons versus Slithering Sceptiles, as Oma does lean out with the Metagross, but not what you expect to sign. It's Water Urshifu, and it's Togekiss and Koko. So Togekiss does have that Electricity, gets that defense buff, so that could be a really useful item. But there's the Surging Strikes into the Koko, not quite taking it out. And there is the Thunder Wave onto the Metagross, so slowing it down, potentially getting that Paralysis. So Reflect goes up, but it gets the crit! The crit, so it doesn't care about that Reflect. And Togekiss goes down, gets that defense buff, and what a turn there from for that Metagross. There's the Surging Strikes into the Arcanine. but not quite tightening out. The Arcanine is super bulky. You know, we found that out last week. Just tanks those hits. There's a Volt Switch in the Coco, but Edgery just goes straight down to that. No chance of Sceptile now swaps in. There is the Max Strike onto the Metagross. I think that might have been a little bit of a miss from Jabba. Obviously, with the Clay Body, that's not going to drop any stats. And the Paralysis to swap All Switch comes out from the Chandelure. Dragon Dance comes out from the Sceptile. And there's the Max Knuckle. Great call there from Oma. Stops that Max Knuckle from going off. Max Quick into the Arcanine, but Arcanine with the Sugar Berry tanks that as well, so gets the special defense buff as well. And Metagross's Dynamax now does end. There's the Throat Chop into Metagross, but it's not doing anywhere near enough with those defense and special defense buffs. Metagross lives right now there with a Weakness Policy. Max Flare not quite doing enough either. There's the Shadow Ball into Arcanine. Arcanine hanging on. Ice Punch into Sceptile. It is Sash Sceptile once again, so now has that unbed proc with that attack buff as well. Protect comes out from the Metagross. Stops that extreme speed hitting. Throat Chop from the Sceptile, but the Chandelure managed to attack it. There's a Heat Wave. It takes out both Sceptile and Arcanine. That is the risky run with the Sash Sceptile. Sceptile goes down, and Coco now with it all to do. The 1v3. Assurance doesn't quite do enough, and there's the Papa Berry on the Chandelure. Shadow Ball is going to do enough to Coco. And Oma takes game number 1. So solid stuff there from Oma. Just completely walled him, and that Chandelure doing such big work once the sun got set up. As in comes Weavile and Coco this time. And it is Aerodactyl and the Metagross, so Unnerve on the Aerodactyl as well. Starting to stop any berries being eaten. There is the Metagross now goes with his Dynamax. Protect comes out from the Aerodactyl. Stop that fake out, so that's a good call there from Oma. Thunder Wave comes out once again from the Coco, so just trying to stop out that Metagross. And the Paralysis does proc this time. Quick Claw comes out from the Weavile, but Night Slash just does nothing. And it's just going to proc that Policy on the Metagross. Bulldoze comes out anyway just for, you know, gets the speed drop on Coco and Weavile. There is the Reflect on the Coco. Quick Claw launches again. This Ice Crush not quite doing enough to the Aerodactyl, but does get that flinch. Assurance into the Metagross. Does get the Steel Spike this time, so no Paralysis proccing. And now has that defense buff as well, but its Dynamax does now end. It's still paralyzed. There's the Tailwind from the Aerodactyl. Dragon Dance goes off from the Sceptile. And there is the Volt Switch. That's going to take out Aerodactyl and allow Coco to swap out, get that stats reset. And in comes Togekiss, gets that Electric Seed proc as well. Ice Punch. It's going to go down with Sash, and Jabba has access to his Dynamax, so the Sceptile now going to be able to run house here. Can it do enough? Paralysis procs on the Metagross. There's the Follow Me from the Togekiss. Max Darkness hits into the Metagross. Metagross hangs on though. Unbelievable stuff. That defense buff proving so valuable. And there's the Heat Wave. That is going to take out the Sceptile. And Sceptile gets 110 and Dynamax, and it is gone. And it is now a 2v3. Coco and Togekiss Ultimate Volt Switch from the Coco though. Does take out the Metagross. There's the Heat Wave. Oh, but that could be a mistake. That procs the Flash Fire on the Chandelure. Follow Me comes out from the Togekiss. Surging Strikes hitting into the Togekiss. That's not going to quite take it out with that defense buff, so good stuff there. Volt Switch. That is going to take Airshrew out, so Chandelure with the ultimate. But there's the Heat Wave. That's going to do enough. And Oma takes game number 2 and takes the match as well. Solid stuff there from Oma as Jabba's losing streak continues. That is now 5 games without a win. Only Dogsy, you know, in the league who's lost more games in a row. So really unfortunate stuff there. I think just a few little mistakes there from Jabba, and otherwise it was a super close game. You know, that game 2 could have went either way at the end, but that Flash Fire proc on the Chandelure and the sun being up, you know, it was never going to survive it. But GG's to both players. Both played a really good game, and that was a really big victory for Oma. You know, getting that up to 3 wins now, and leaves Jabba with it all to do in the final 3 weeks. But our final game of the week, it is Bulu Boys taking on the Long Island Goomys. Now, I believe, I could be wrong, this is one of the matchups we've played the most in the league. Bulu Boys versus Goomys. We've played 4 times so far. Bulu Boys have taken every game thus far. Goomys needing this win though, on 2-4 record, currently bottom of the table. And Bulu Boys on that 4-game winning streak. We saw just how strong the G-Max Charizard with Torkoal was last week alongside Venusaur and the Lightning Rod Raichu. So it's definitely something that Silly's going to have to watch out for, but does have that Excadrill, so Charizard's not going to enjoy facing off against that Excadrill, you know, especially with that Hippopotas, you know, it can reset that sand, reset that weather, sorry, get that potentially a Sand Rush on that Excadrill. It's going to go super fast, and Charizard is not going to eat that Rock Slide very well, you know, that 4 times weakness. Bulu Boys do have other options as well. That Garchomp as well could really work well in this matchup, as well as Cradley as well, you know, if that oh my goodness, brain, hold the phone. I know the Pokemon, my brain's just decided to end again. Milotic, that's the one. If Milotic does decide to come for Long Island Goomys, you know, Cradley could work really well here with the Storm Drain. And don't sleep on that Mesprit as well. You know, we've seen how strong Mesprit can be. It's been a really, really strong Pokemon. You know, can run it as a special attacker, an attacker. You can run it as a support mon. It's a really versatile Pokemon. And don't sleep on some of the baby mons on the Goomys team. We've seen how good Fletchling could be if there's no fake out support on that team. And that Boltund as well gets access to Eerie Impulse, gets access to Charm, and also has Electrify. If the Raichu does come, that's maybe not going to work super great here, but you know, if City can take out the Raichu, you know, completely can just wall the Bulu Boys team. You know, he's so many electric resists, and that could be really useful. But without further ado, for the final time this week, let's take a look at Bulu Boys versus the Long Island Goomys in our 5th iteration of this game, and it is Garchomp and Raichu that lead the line for the Bulu Boys, and it is Hippopotas and Excadrill, so he's going to get that Sand set up, and Raichu with the balloon as well, so that's really, really big. Silly knows he's going to have to take care of that balloon before he's able to take care of that Raichu, as Garchomp goes for his Dynamax. Protect comes out from the Excadrill, Fake Out comes out onto the Hippopotas, Max Quake into the Excadrill, and that takes it down below half HP through the Protect. That's a special defense buff as well to boot, and that super effective move doing big damage there at the Excadrill. I wonder if that is Sandvale Garchomp as well. So that's going to drop the accuracy on Garchomp, but that could be really, really big. And the balloon stays intact on Raichu. Excadrill swaps out, in comes Clefairy. Clefairy, so that's a really good swap, stops that charm from going up. But there's the Max Quake at the Clefairy. Clefairy just gets OHKO'd by the Garchomp. Grace off there, and Hippopotas goes for the Yawn on the Garchomp. So Garchomp is going to be going to sleep next turn unless Matt decides to swap it out. So that next time could be super important as Excadrill now swaps back in. Garchomp and Raichu still on the field, but it is now a 3v4 in favour of the Bulu Boys. We expect Raichu to go for that charm again, just in case Excadrill does manage to stay alive. He goes for with the Dynamax. Can't keep it alive. And just drop that top. There's a high. But that's a mistake from Silly. The high horsepower doesn't land because of the balloon. Charm goes off at the Excadrill. Max Quake takes out the Excadrill. It is now a 2v4. And Hippopotas goes for the Fissure. Goes at the Fissure on the Raichu as well. But because of the balloon, that doesn't hit. And now Garchomp does go to sleep. It is 2v4s now. Flapple comes in, so Silly yet to use his Dynamax. So Flapple could do some good work here. You know, Flapple does have access to that hustle ability. Can do some really big work here. And you know, can be really difficult to stop. Flapple goes for its Dynamax Volt Switch there from the Raichu. That is going to allow for the Torkoal to swap in, resets that weather, gets the sun up, and the Garchomp stays asleep. There's Max Wyrmwind. The Torkoal doesn't quite beat that, does down to 30% HP. But Fissure lands from the Hippopotas! Oh my god! The 30% accuracy move from the baby Hippo takes out the sleeping Garchomp. What have we just witnessed? The baby Hippo taking out the Garchomp. Unbelievable scenes. Absolutely sensational. Now Venusaur comes in with that Sun Protect, comes out from the Torkoal. There's the Sludge Bomb into Flapple. Flapple stays alive. There's the Max Airstream into the Venusaur, and the Cold Berry stops the Venusaur from going down. But now Silly just get that information. There is the Fissure into the Torkoal. That's going to get blocked by the Protect. And oh, that could be really, really big. But can Flapple live another move here, to be honest, from that Venusaur? It doesn't have access to a Protect. That Flapple's in a lot of trouble. Max Guard though comes out with the Flapple. Stops that Sludge Bomb from going out. There's the Earthquake on the Hippopotas. It does take out Venusaur, so Hippopotas gets another kill. There's the Body Press in the Hippopotas as well. And Hippopotas, oh man, it eats that Body Press for breakfast. And Torkoal now on 8% HP, and we are in a bit of a spot here. I don't know if you can see what's happening here, but if Flapple's unable to take out this Raichu here, unless Silly has a different move on the Hippopotas, but I think it's just Yawn, Fissure, Earthquake, and I think Protect. That Raichu has the balloon, so does the Raichu have anything but an electric move? It's also in a bit of a spot here. That Torkoal has got to get a kill here. Are we about to hit a brick wall here for the first time in the British Pokemon League? But let's see what happens. If Flapple's able to take care of the Raichu, not able to get an attack off before it goes down, it's going to be slower than that Raichu. You expect Raichu to, you know, hit into that Flapple, to be honest. Eruption on that Torkoal, as you can see, that's not going to be doing very much there. Hippopotas. You respect the Eviolite on the Hippo. Protect comes out from the Torkoal. Grab Apple does miss the Raichu. There's the Volt Switch into the Flapple. Flapple goes down. Earthquake misses on the Hippopotas, but that is going to hit next time. The Hippopotas is faster than the Torkoal, so we are in a very difficult spot here. That Torkoal, as he can go for a protect here. And oh dear, are we about to hit our first ever stalemate here? This is like a spaghetti western where both guys have no chance of hitting each other. It's like two cowboys with no arms and a gun. The Torkoal's going to move after the Hippopotas regardless here. And one Earthquake on the Hippopotas is going to take care of Torkoal. So Hippopotas is going to have 3 kills to his name, and he got the Fisher off. I think this would come down to HP at this point. So at this point in the game, Raichu's on 79% HP, Hippopotas on 65, so that would mean the Bulu Boys take the game by default. But unbelievable, can we just say that the Hippopotas getting the Fisher? Who would have ever thought it? Charm on the Hippopotas is not going to matter. Earthquake goes off, immune from the balloon. Torkoal goes down, and there it is. That's it. What do we do here? Raichu with no other moves other than electric moves. Hippopotas only with ground moves. You can see is in the chat there trying to work out what to do. And that was it. Complete wall. As we move on to game 2, we did decide in the end that Bulu Boys did take the game because of HP. And there we go, game number 2. Mesprit and Klefki from the side of Bulu Boys, and it is Clef and Flapple on the side of Silly. So Klefki and Clefairy. That's not going to get confusing. And Silly, seeing just how strong Flapple was in that last game, going for the, maybe going for that Dynamax. And Mesprit comes in. So is this support Mesprit or is this physical or special Mesprit? We'd expect it's going to be Prunks to support Klefki. Could be super important here. And Mesprit does go for its Dynamax, so it is an attack or special. The Helping Hand comes out the Flapple. There's the Grab Apple that takes Mesprit down to a half HP and does drop the defense. There's the Max Staff. Oh, that could be a mistake. Matt tagging into the Clef. I'm guessing, predicting the follow me. And oh no, he gets that call all wrong. That Flapple would have been taken care of there. And oh, what a mistake. That could lead Silly into take this game. One more Helping Hand. Grab Apple is going to take care of the Mesprit. Max Guard comes out from the Mesprit. Stops that Grab Apple taking out. The Dazzling Gleam comes out from the Klefki, and Flapple is down. Clef down about 24% HP, and in comes now the Excadrill. I'm going to have to hope that the Mesprit has something. The Excadrill goes for its Dynamax. Protect comes out from the Clefairy. There is the Sunny Day from the Klefki, and oh no, the Steel Spike takes out the Excadrill. The Excadrill just faster, and Mesprit is down. And it is now 3v3 as in comes Venusaur now, but that's going to potentially allow Silly to just bring in the Hippo now and reset that weather. Unless Matt is able to hit the Sunny Day again. Clef comes in, there's the Hippo, swaps out. But it's Switcheroo. Switcheroo comes out from the Clef, gets that sash off the Excadrill and gives the Lagging Tail. That's not going to matter because Lagging Tail's not going to proc the next turn. And the Weather Ball, because of the reset, it's a rock move, so it hits the Excadrill and does absolutely nothing. And Venusaur pretty much goes down to that Quake. And oh, what a disaster of a game this is turning out. Great stuff there from Silly. Silly just working the switch in really well. Completely just walling out that Mesprit to begin with. Silly's played this super well. I think even Sunny Day now is not going to matter. I think that special defense buff that Excadrill's going to live any attack that Venusaur's got in its arsenal. Mascard comes out from the Excadrill. There's the Sunny Day. You did see there that Venusaur went for the Weather Ball and Hippopotas hit with the Earthquake and takes out yet another Mon. So Hippopotas just getting all the kills. And now Raichu comes in with that balloon, so Silly's going to have to take care of that balloon before he does anything here. But both Mons on the field reach the ground. Hippopotas swaps out, in comes Clef. Charm comes out from the Raichu. Dazzling Gleam now not quite doing enough to Clefairy, and Excadrill's going to resist that. Rock Slide comes out, that's going to pop the balloon. Not going to do too much damage thanks to that Charm, but now Raichu is completely open to a ground move, as is Klefki, and Matt now in a bit of a spot here. It's looking like Silly is going to take this game number 2 and level us up. Is this going to be the one where Silly gets it? As Sandstream Hippo swaps back in, Protect comes out from the Clef, and there it is. No moves go off, both attacks going into the Clef, and not quite working out against the Hippo. Does get the special defense drop from that Metal Sound. There is the Volt Switch on the Clef, so the Raichu doesn't gleam. Special defense drop, not enough. Hippopotas comes in with the Earthquake, and Hippo gets another 2 kills. Hippopotas, the MVP so far for the Goomys, and Goomys ties all up. That nearly ended up turning around there at the end. That Metal Sound, which you didn't see, unfortunately, I accidentally hit the skip button. I do apologise for that, but that Metal Sound did nearly mean that the Dazzling Gleam was enough to take out the Portals. We move on to game 3 though, and it is the same lineup as game 1 for Bulu Boys. Raichu and the Garchomp, and it is Flapple and Clef on the side of Silly. So if the Garchomp does have access to a Dragon move, it's in a good spot here. We haven't seen one thus far from the side of that Garchomp. Super close game so far. And what's his Clef going to do here? Are we going to see a Follow Me? I think it's going to eat potentially a Steel Spike here from the Garchomp if he goes for that. So, but we do know Clef has Protect, so Silly can make a good read here. So the Dynamax just Garchomp Protect comes out from the Flapple. Double Protect there. Clef gets protected as well. Stops that Fake Out from going off. So good reads there from Silly. Steel Spike into the Clef. That is going to give a defense buff to both Garchomp and the Raichu. Great stuff. Great calls there from Silly. Keeps both Clef and Flapple kicking around. Stops the Fake Out from going off as well. Good stuff from Silly as we move on into 10 number 2. He's in game number 2. 10 number 2. Garchomp with the second turn of his Dynamax's Flapple now. Goes for his Dynamax. Follow Me comes out from the Clef. Charm hits into the Clef, so getting blocked by that Follow Me. Quake goes into the Clef. How much is Wemwood going to do from the Flapple? And Garchomp manages just hanging on with 20% HP. That is going to drop the attack of the Garchomp though, so that could be super huge if Bulu Boys want to be able to take out that Flapple. As now in comes the fabled, the inevitable Hippopotas. This thing has already got 6 kills. It's already on an absolute roll here. So Matt now probably very wary of this little baby Hippo, looking all cute there with its sand up. That is going to proc the Sand Veil on the Garchomp though, so that's going to lower the accuracy on the attacks on Garchomp. Max Guard comes out from the Flapple. Charm gets blocked by the Max Guard, and Quake into the Hippopotas. Just takes down half HP. Gets us with Death up, and there's the Earthquake. Raichu doesn't get bothered by the balloon, and the Earthquake doesn't quite take out Garchomp as well with that defense buff from that Steel Spike, proving really valuable. And Protect comes out from the Garchomp now. There is the Charm onto the Flapple. Max Overgrowth into the Raichu. That Charm proving super useful. Does get the balloon pop, but Raichu manages to live another there. There's the Earthquake. Earthquake doesn't quite take out the Raichu. That's that defense buff. And Super Storm and the Sandstorm not quite taking out Raichu even. Now with after the Max Overgrowth, Grassy Terrain is up, and that is just giving the HP back to Garchomp and Raichu, keeping them in the game. So it's still 3v2, but both of the Bulu Boys ones down below 10 HP. What you didn't see there was Hippopotas getting another kill. Takes out the Raichu. Not quite doing enough to Garchomp Flapple with the Protector. I do apologise for the skipping the times here. Now Mesprit comes in. So we know now that this is physical attacking Mesprit, and how much damage can this thing do. Garchomp then just about hanging on for dear life on 11% HP. That Flapple with the attack drop. And Silly wisely swaps it out. X-Drill now swaps in. There is the play rough. A great call there from Silly. Expecting the play rough coming out. Earthquake. Not going to hit the Garchomp. Levitate's going to block that rating, and he does hit his own X-Drill and does a little bit of good damage there. The X-Drill, but X-Drill with a bit of chunky defense manages to just sort of tank that. But really great switch-ins there from Silly. They're a great read, expecting the play rough, as I said, into that Flapple. High Iron Head though, it misses thanks to the Sand Veil. Iron Head misses the Garchomp. Earthquake comes out from the Garchomp, not quite taking out X-Drill, and the Fire Punch takes out the X-Drill, so it's now a 2v3. There's the Fissure. It's not going to land on the Mesprit because of the Levitate. Another big mistake there from Silly. How important could that be? As Flapple now swaps back in. No Charm this time, and Raichu has been taken care of, so no stat drops. There's a Protect from the Flapple. Iron Head into the Hippopotas. It doesn't quite go down, and the play rough is blocked by that Protect. The Fissure lands again. Fissure takes out the Garchomp once again. What scenes are we seeing here? This baby Hippo just taking names left, right, and centre. Gets another kill, and now Venusaur comes in with no Sun, so it is now 2v2. Jill Wingbeat is Coldberry. It still does a lot for the Coldberry. Jill Wingbeat, and it takes it out with the crit. Venusaur goes down. Mesprit now with a 1v2. There's the Ice Punch Hippo. Manages to live that though. Earthquake not going to do much because that Levitate Hippopotas obviously only has access to ground moves, so it is in a bit of a spot against his Mesprit. But the Flapple, can it potentially take out the Mesprit here? If Silly can maybe go for Protect on the Flapple. We do know Hippopotas has Yawn as well. If you can put that thing to sleep, it can maybe take care of it. Flapple does go for the Protect. Flare Up gets blocked. There is the Yawn as expected. But now Mesprit is going to be able to take out that Flapple this time. Protect comes out from the Hippopotas. Grab Apple does miss the Mesprit, and there's Play Rough into the Flapple. That hustle ability working against Silly, and now Mesprit goes to sleep, but it's all over. This is it. Hippopotas has no moves to hit into the Mesprit. Mesprit is going to eventually wake up. It wakes up after 2 turns, gets the Ice Punch, takes game 2, and the long-awaited win versus the Bulu Boys for Goomys carries on. What an unbelievably crazy game. What the fuck happens? Excuse my language, what the fuck was that? Can I just point out that this supporter's got 8, not only did it get 8 kills, it's a baby hippo. Yes, okay, it cleaned up like mons that run 5% HP, that's not the problem. This thing got 2 Fisher kills on a Garchomp with Sandvale while Sand was up. Now Fisher is a 30% accuracy move. Unbelievable. Absolutely sensational. Great games to study. That is probably my favourite set we've played out of all 5 of them. That was unbelievably close. A Gravel miss, and you know, Hippo's not having any other moves, proving the sort of deciding factor in the end there. And I think a few mistakes on Silly's side and my side as well. Yeah, you know, game 2 was just a horrible mess. I don't want to see it ever again. But you know, great games to Silly. Always enjoy playing against that dude. And but Silly has a lot of work now to go in these final 3 weeks. Anyway, we are now going to take a look at the league table after that game now. After all our games have been played. We just hold the phone, get the rankings up. As you can see there then, in the East Division, Celtic Celebes line up on the same record as Inglorious Surfers, both on 5 and 2. It is now getting very, very close at the top there. Any of that top 4 could finish first if Aaron is to lose out again in week 8. Draco with a great win over Aaron's Inglorious Surfers. Crizzle losing out to Newcastle Thundurus, drops down to 4 and 3, and we are getting that win over ShadowKings. Also moves us up to 4 and 3, so it's super, super close. And Dave, as we said, with that win over Criz, keeps himself in contention. You know, any loss for Criz or Wio in the weeks ahead. And Dave, if he's able to get the win next week, can pounce on that and keep himself, as I said, in contention. But as we said, it is all over, unfortunately, for Dogsy. So no losers bracket dream runs this time round. But as I said, it will be great to see Dogsy back next season to have another go of it. Over in the West Division, Latvian is he's a game away from pretty much securing the regular season champion. He's played so well this season. As I said, I don't have enough good things to say about this season for him. He's played really well, and he definitely has a target on his back going to playoffs. I'm not going to be wrong. A lot of people want to beat him, especially over in the East Division, and I think that's going to make playoffs even more spicy. But like Celtic Celebes in the East Division, who are now on 5 and 2, Bulu Boys match that record entirely, and Bulu Boys now on a 5-game winning streak as well as the Celebes. So Bulu Boys keep on rolling on. Bastiodon's getting that win over the Septiles, moves them up to a 3 and 4 record, and Candies drops down to 4th with that loss to Latvian's Miami Heat. But all 3 of those bottom 3 teams on 2 and 5. And the most important thing is that all these 3 teams play each other in the final 3 weeks. We're going to have a look at the schedule in a second, but that's going to be so spicy to end things off down at the bottom there. Anyone in that final 3rd to 6th can make that final spot. But it does mean that Bulu Boys are all but qualified for playoffs. So Bulu Boys making playoffs once again. That's going to be really great for the Bulu Boys. And we're going to see who's going to join Bulu Boys and Latvian's Miami Heat very, very soon in the next couple of weeks, I'm sure. But anyway, let's take a quick look at the schedule. Let's find the schedule screen. Here we go. Week number 8 then. As you can see, Bulu Boys taking on Oma's California Bastion. So Oma's going to be looking for a little bit of revenge after last time. You know, Bulu Boys getting that 2-0 win. Needs to keep the wins rolling for Oma. Doesn't want those teams of long to catch up. Jabba though, our bottom team in the West Division, with it all to do against unbeaten Latvian Miami Heat. That could be a crazy game. That could, as I said, could secure Latvian as our Season 2 West Division regular season champion. And finally, the final game in the West Division. What a game that's going to be. Long Island Goomys in 5th, taking on 4th place 200 Candies, both on the 2 and 5 record. Thank you very much, Lat. Thank you very much. Both on the 2 and 5 record. Both of them needing a win here. Well, Silly wants to get back to winning ways after 2 losses in a row. Candies is not going to take that loss lightly. He's going to want to get the win. Both, as I said, needing the wins to try and secure playoffs. Over in the East Division then, Toastal Belgrade take on South Croydon Source. So about third versus 4th in that one. That could be really huge, you know. So someone's got to lose there and potentially could get dragged into that fight for that 4th spot. ShadowKings, after that loss to Wio, take on top of the table Aaron and Glorious Surfers. Aaron on the 2-game losing streak though. So could this be where Dogsy ShadowKings strike? You know, he did get the game win this time round against Wheels Toast Belgrade, so that can maybe give him a little bit of confidence going into this one. Can maybe play a little bit of spoiler now he's out of playoffs, but we will certainly see what happens. And finally, our final game of week 8, Celtic Celebies taking on Newcastle Thundurus. Draco Celtic Celebies 5 games unbeaten at the moment, so they are the team, they are the inform, and they are the team to beat in that East Division. But Newcastle Thundurus, what a game he played against Crystal South Croydon Saws. Massive GG's and congrats to Dave on that win. Played that super well, and you do love to see that. As said, Dave keeps himself in with a shout to make playoffs. Anyways, my guys, that is going to do it for this week's show. I hope you've all really enjoyed it. It's been really fun for me. My throat is ruined because it's so warm in here, but I've had an absolute blast commentating this week. It's about to get super spicy, guys. We've got 3 weeks of games left till playoffs. In the West Division, absolutely anyone can make it. Dave is still within a shout of making the East Division. It's all coming up Millhouse. Either way, but I've been your host, Matt Starr. I will see you all next week, next Monday, at the same time, right here on this Twitch channel, twitch.tv/BritishPokemon League. See you then. Mwah.